Okay, so although with the GoPro Hero 4, although I'm sending it back, I've given it another test of some of its low light capabilities because it's got a night time lapse and it's also just got great kind of nighttime low light settings that very automatic, very easy to do. So I went around, took a couple of shots, and there's a couple of problems, I'll say, with it already. One is every time you turn your camera off or your iPod off, and you're using that for changing the settings, it would reset it back to video mode, and it would take away, if you'd programmed in all the exposure at 100 ISO for 15 seconds, all that kind of stuff, if you turn it off and on and your iPod off and on or something like that, it would reset it. And there's quite a few times where I've just gone, I'm in another place, take another photo, press it, oh wait, it's recording a video. So there is a little issue with that. I've also did a night time lapse as well, which I'll show you at the end. But let's just have a little look at the shots which we got here. So this is just in Edinburgh, and we're looking at this on a full 27-inch iMac here, and we've got all the details. In fact, yes, ISO 400. That's a 1/6 of a second. The lens is a fixed focal length. It's only 3mm, and it's at an f2.8. So, moving around, I was quite impressed with this one. This is just automatic. Just put it on and point it into this dark area. And if we zoom in, ISO 400 on a Mac, looking pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that. That's not too bad. And then looking back the way, now ISO and white balance, let's just go, because I was also shooting this in what I thought was protune settings, which should mean I have certain things to play around with. No, I don't. The temp, it's not like a raw file that you get out of a digital SLR or anything like that. And also, when you've got it in its protective housing, definitely the glare and stuff that you get off the lights is a bit guff, or it's a bit weird, or it's a bit cool. It's up to you how you decide it. But in terms of sharpness of that image, it's a 12 megapixel image, 4,000 along the way, 3,000 up and down the way. I thought that was pretty good. So then shooting in there, let's see. Yeah, looks good. Let's see how much control and how much can I. Oh, look at the amount of detail you can bring in just sticking the exposure up a bit there. So yeah, very impressed. But again, because it's such a wide angle lens, any lights even at the sides then cause big lens flare going on there. But otherwise, if you're just taking shots, sticking it on Facebook or whatever, fantastic. I would say that's really good. In fact, I'm pressing P for pick. I'm going to put that on Facebook later on. Then I was trying to see if I could get the kind of light streams. Light painting with the cars going on here. Let's see what are the details. This was only an 1/8 of a second. No good. 2 seconds. ISO 200. So if it's changed the ISO down to 200. Let's see. Is there a difference in quality? Yeah, I would say there is. I would say there is definitely a difference in quality. ISO 200 is better. And then did I go down to ISO? Oh, now here, what's happened here? This was it in its. I started to, instead of having it in an auto exposure, auto shutter speed setting, I decided and I went for a 10-second exposure, and it just kind of screwed around with everything. Obviously that's way too bright, but it's pretty cool, the light that you get here. But how much can we rescue this? Ugh. What do I have in this that could be white balanced? Oh, that's still a bit blue. Maybe around about there. Okay, maybe it might be quite cool. Saturation up? No. Saturation down? Nah, not too fussed by it. So yeah, certainly if you're doing nighttime shots in a city, what you want is a white balance setting of around about 3,000, which is what the GoPro will let you do. If you have it above that, it becomes super orange, and if you shoot it in native, it seems like you don't really have a huge amount of white balance exposure changing. It doesn't look that good going on there. Look, you're getting all wriggly. You're getting all wriggly. Are you not interested in these amazing photos? Right, okay, next one. So video, it's like, oops, press video button. I thought, how well can it do in-car setting? 2 seconds, ISO 100. I would say that's not quite bright enough, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. And then, so if you go above, this is still 2 seconds, start moving, you get this blur. You get this blur, which is cool. Again, low down shots. That's one thing I say about the GoPro is you can put it anywhere, so down on the ground. But at the moment, still with the iPod, you don't have the ability to preview your positioning, your thing, your position. Preview your field of view, whatever. Because it's just not coming up on the iPod 5. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a photo and then I'm waiting to have it to download it onto the iPod to view it, and then I go, oh, I need to change the settings a little bit. So again, here, pretty. That is incredibly dark and quite scary. So here I just had it in between the fence, looking up at St Mary's Cathedral, and that's at the white balance just auto. It's at 2 seconds here, but how much info does it still have? That is damn good, actually. You're getting actually okay. It's mush, but that's pretty surprising. Let's see the next one. That was a 5 second exposure, and there's a 5 second raw exposure. Let's see how much more do we really get much more detail. But either way, that's pretty cool. White balance. Yeah, the white balance doesn't quite work as I was hoping. I thought we'd go for a super long exposure. Here, you can't really see anything, but there is a building there. And then I took a long exposure here. There's a 15 seconds ISO 200. So this is Donaldson's School for the Deaf in Edinburgh. And I was like, damn, that's good. Okay, you've got, for a 12 megapixel image, that is stonkingly good quality. ISO 200, 15 seconds. Crop it in like that. That looks pretty cool. I would be very happy with the images that you get. Then I thought maybe I could do some light painting as well. So I went to this area. There's this little park where outside Murrayfield Stadium, and which is a rugby football kind of thing stadium there, which is all kind of cool. And again, white balance down at its lowest there. For some reason, it just automatically went reset itself annoyingly. And I thought, let's try and do some light painting. Let's write my name, and that worked. I was quite happy with that. And then I thought, let's take up to 40 seconds. And I can happily write Dom in front of Murrayfield Stadium. And at 12 megapixels, I can now zoom into that on a 27 iMac, and it looks pretty darn good. And then there's another one with a little squiggly line at the end. So if you're interested in doing some light painting, pardon you, well done, Logan. You've got easily a 30-second exposure at ISO 100 in a city under the lights. Stick it to the white balance of around about 3000, and you get kind of a white sky instead of that horrible orangey sky, which just looks tobacco. And yeah, okay, so there's a place where I thought, great example of lots of light flare going on, and definitely with it in its protective case, you're getting a lot of flare. It doesn't quite work very well there. And what the heck am I seeing? I've seen all these extra lines. I don't remember those at the time. And that wasn't a movement, I don't think. I don't know what's going on there. Interesting. Let's see, is it in the next one? No. So much cleaner shot. Maybe I just accidentally moved the camera or something. But yeah, if you're shooting into street lights, maybe take it out of its protective housing, and definitely make sure the housing is clean as well. So again, in a city, shooting at a low white balance temperature, and then other shots. So yeah, glare coming in massively, and lots of light dots there going on. Still at Murrayfield Stadium. Again, with the GoPro, you can put it anywhere. This is just at the fence, looking through, and I thought these were all just kind of cool angles. Oh, are you bored? Are you yawning at these amazing photos? You don't understand. You just don't understand. You're learning. You're learning these things. Let's see how much we. Yeah, you can. Pretty impressive if you want to boost up. You know, I would say you're probably not going to be winning. What do you call it? Like professional photographer of the year with these images, but if you're sticking these online, these are good. Like, this is a full 27-inch iMac, and I am happy with the results of that. Yeah, ISO 100 and only a 2-second exposure. Not bad. And then I went for a car shot. So, this, I've got a little mount inside the car, and I've stuck it into the GoPro Studio, and I've just edited it all. One I did with their new thing called Flux, where you can slow it slower than it actually does. It takes a lot longer to export, but it totally screws up, big style. So if we look at the, whoa, it's like you're on acid. So that's with Flux. I'll put that just at the end for you all to see. And with no Flux, so no Flux, you just got this kind of normal time-lapse exposure kind of thing going on, and looks fine. If you use Flux, if you have like something moving, it will try and blend it all in, but if you've got a shot like this, you are on acid. So I'll put them up for you to see at the end of this video, but I would say if you're just interested in getting used to low light, doing some low light wide angle shots in a city, the GoPro Hero 4 feature is very, very good. So there you go. Hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy the videos. And Logan says goodbye. Logan, say goodbye. Are you sticking your tongue out, everyone? Logan says goodbye. Okay, he's going to wave this time, aren't you? Wave. Bye bye. Bye bye. Okay, cheers, everyone. Bye bye. Okay, it is absolutely pitch dark outside and perfect time for me to see how well the long exposure setting works at night time, because we've got half a clear sky. Some clouds over that way, but clear skies over that way. I can see stars. I've driven far enough out of the city. I'm going to try and see the exposure settings for us. Can we do astro photography, or at least see some stars with a GoPro? Here we go. I've gone, and as you saw, it's totally dark, can't see anything. And this was, we'll look at the actual details here. This is a 15-second exposure, ISO 800. When you're shooting in, are you yawning again? When you're shooting in the protune setting, it has a limit of where you can put the ISO, and it says it's, the limit is 800. So for me, I put it at the maximum, because if you're doing nighttime shots or stars shots, you usually want your ISO around about like 3,200, never mind just 800, and a 15-second exposure, and it did a fantastic job. So way out in the middle of nowhere, you can see it totally gets the light. That's effectively the light from the city, but we can see all the stars really quite clearly. Not clearly enough to be like, damn, that's a totally amazing like Milky Way photo, but like, yeah, I can like see that's a constellation of something there, and maybe that's another bunch of stars, which I know, maybe. Is that the plough? Is that one? Is that maybe a plough? I have no idea. I don't really follow stars that much. Yeah, no, that is a plough. I think it is. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That becomes, I think we call that the plough, I think. So it didn't give me an option of doing longer than 30 seconds. So here's a 30-second exposure. Oh yeah, boy, I've done a bit of editing to that to try and get some more into this. So yeah, here I've massively increased the exposure up, brought the highlights down. Maybe I should bring the highlights up. The shadows up. So if you're doing a 30-second exposure, ISO 800, you don't really have much chance of doing much editing. But again, still clearly see the stars there, not a problem. Here's another one, just a little bit edited in, 30 seconds, same again. I just think, for me, on my computer, I can look at that and go, yeah, cool, I can see some stars. That's definitely an interesting constellation of something. Is that called like the Seven Sisters or something? Or maybe that's the Seven Sisters down there. Maybe that's a whole galaxy. I have no idea. So, can you take photos of stars? Yes. Are you going to be getting amazing, like, wow, that's totally awesome shots? Don't think so. I think you would need something which is a bit of a higher ISO, and especially if you look over the side and you look at thumbnail, which is what most people would see on something like a Facebook page, or even just like if they're just scanning through a website, they're not going to be wowed away by the star shots. But that's not to say you can't get them. And again, this is only about 5-6 miles outside of Edinburgh. So maybe if you go further out of town where there's really no lights whatsoever, it may be more obvious. But here, just now, 30 seconds, and the fact that you can't do a longer one, because effectively you could, like, there's the 500 rule, where you take 500, then divide it by your focal length to make sure you don't get blur, blah, blah, blah. Focal length here being 3, you could effectively have like almost a 2-minute exposure before you get blur going on. So that'd be interesting to do that. Maybe in the future there'll be a firmware update to do that. But yeah, you can see the stars, but probably not going to be blown away by it. So there you go. Hope it helps. Now, Logan, say goodbye again. This time, no sticky out tongues. Sticky out tongues. Just bubbles. Logan says, bye-bye. So yeah.